Okay, very good evening to one and all present here in this call. Today, I welcome you all to the penultimate day of the 1 week faculty development program organized by IQAC of Hooghly Engineering and Technology College in collaboration with Institutions Innovation Council, IIC, and Entrepreneurship Development Cell, EDC, of Hooghly Engineering and Technology College. I cordially welcome all my dear participants. Today is the penultimate day. Tomorrow we have the final session, which will start at 3 p.m. And tomorrow we'll be sharing with you final feedback form, as well as we'll also share with you another link to a MCQ test. The detailed message will be displayed during today's session, so please keep a close eye. We'll share all the important instructions relating to certifications and the multiple choice question test as well. Now, coming back to today's session, today we have amongst us our honorable speaker, Mr. Sumit Gupta from Level Up Services. He has got a vast experience in the corporate. Today, he will be sharing his experience relating to artificial intelligence and data science, the challenges of AI, as well as the prospects and also the potentials of AIDS. We are definitely looking up to this seminar today. We hope we get enlightened with new ideas as well as new challenges as well. So before we start today's session, let me formally introduce our honorable speaker. Please keep a close eye on the screen. Mr. Sumit Gupta is a visionary founder dedicated to leveraging technology for sustainability. As the driving force behind Sustainivo, he leads the implementation of AI and blockchain technologies to provide businesses with seamless ESG management solutions. His commitment to free and open source software, that is FOSS, is evident through his work at FOSS Forward, which he spearheads initiatives to enhance open source technology adoption. Sumit's expertise and innovative outlook make him a prominent figure in promoting sustainable practices and technological advancements. His leadership and insights have established him as a sort of a speaker and influential voice in the tech community. On this note, we welcome Mr. Sumit Gupta, and I really thank you, and also a very, very cordial welcome for consenting to this program. So over to you, sir, Mr. Sumit Gupta from Level Up Services. So here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Shum, is my voice audible?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Perfect. So once again, good afternoon to everybody, respected faculty members. This is Sumit here. Just a quick introduction about myself. I have been an entrepreneur right from my college days. Like I've done my engineering in electronics and communications, and it's been about 8-9 years that I've been working in the industry. So the journey started with offering IT services to a lot of international clients through freelancing platforms in my second year of college, and from there we have evolved into an organization which focuses specifically on B2B IT applications. And then across our journey, we have discovered certain use cases which can be productized. So we will be talking on one of the specific use cases, one of the leading products that we have in the market currently, which is in the sustainability space. And we have been working across multiple organizations in multiple geographies, from MSMEs to large corporates, even government bodies. So we'd love to share more about it. And before I proceed with my presentation, I would like to humbly submit that this is more of a discussion rather than a training. I do not consider that I still have gathered enough knowledge that I can train esteemed faculty members like yours. But I would love to share the industry experience that I've gathered over the years, what our learnings have been, and what is our outlook from a perspective of a young entrepreneur working closely with these corporates for the AI industry. So without much ado, I would be sharing my screen in a second. Just give me a minute. Uh, just checking if I have the sharing rights. Yes, I can do that. Yeah. So hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, the screen is visible.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. So as I have been informed, like currently we the training is specifically focusing on the concept of Industry 6.0 and how we can balance ethics, sustainability, and AI while keeping the progress and keeping moving forward with our progress in terms of the industrial evolution. Uh, I will be, sharing my learnings and our expectations from the industry, how we see this shaping forward. But please feel free to ask questions when you have any. We will also have a dedicated Q&A section at the end. Uh, so let us start. So, quickly visiting the industrial revolution, how it has occurred. Like we have been specifically focused on the technological advancement right from industry 1.0 to 2.0, where the focus and the North Star metric have always been, driving production, driving meeting numbers, increasing revenue, basically focusing on the technology side of things. But we are seeing a recent shift in the recent times that we are also focusing on the human side of advancement of the industrial revolution, like probably the impact on the human life, impact on how human isn't going to interact with that technology. So that is something which is being considered right away. And industry 6.0, one of the important pillars is human AI interaction and the ethical side of revolution in form of sustainability, in form of considering various ethics and ethical decisions in terms of specific implementations. So industrial evolution, if you want to define industrial evolution 6.0, we can define it with a very simple deviation, that it is the same industrial evolution that has been happening for the past hundreds of years. It's just that we are starting to focus on more on the human side, including the human concept of evolution as well in the decisions that we are taking for advancement. The important pillars include the AI-driven decision making, ethical and sustainable practices, which we will talk about in detail in the presentation, the human AI collaboration, because in the past 12 to 18 months, AI has taken the industry by storm. We are also experiencing both the positive and negative effects of AI on our business, on how we are dealing with it. Advanced data analytics to further improve the ROI, further improve the efficiency of the entire process, and then focusing on the circular economy principles, because one of my mentors always says that we are the first generation to actually like experience the impact of climate change, and we are the last generation that can do anything about it, right? So basically we have to be very cautious with our decision making in terms of how we are using the resources, because that is very limited. The most of the economy that we currently live with is linear in its nature, that you consume a particular product, you manufacture a product, you use it, and then you send it to the landfill. The use ends there. But it is important, since it is limited in number, we go through a circular economy principle, where that particular resource which has been used, that can be brought back in some way, some form, some other means and methods. So specifically focusing on the technology side of Industry 6.0, we are experiencing a lot of AI and machine learning being employed for driving the revolution in Industry 6.0. Edge computing is something which is being carried forward from the previous segments of industrial revolution. We have 5G, 6G networks coming up to support the massive bandwidth which is required to like make the AI models functional, to support metaverse, to support the massive need of data transfer between assets. We have quantum computing coming up. Like there's a lot of advancement happening in that field, and that will definitely take provide a sustainable way of meeting the need of of the kind of computing power which AI resources would demand in the future. If you want to see AI, one thing is clear, that there will be a huge demand of computing power in forms of chips, in forms of computing infrastructure, along with a massive need of power as well. So there are companies, there are organizations which are considering, even entire governments are considering $1 trillion projects for uh, like energy generation, energy creation, and that is something that will be there. And quantum computing offers an alternate way to optimize the need of these these resources. So that is something that we are looking forward to. Again, blockchain for transparency and traceability, that is a very important aspect of industry 6.0, considering ethics. So blockchain provides us a way in which we can build systems which are trustless, which are which are tamper proof, which instills better trust among different stakeholders there which are involved. Robotics and cobots are probably the next immediate effect that you would see. Even we are currently seeing military use, we are seeing advanced use, but then that is going to something that is going to become very prevalent in the near future. Digital twins are also something which we are going to see a lot often, and sustainable and smart materials is also an area of research, is an area of great traction that we are seeing currently in the industry 6.0 revolution, where most of the organizations, I would not say that they are doing it by choice, but even if it is not by choice, they are being forced to become sustainable. How that is happening, we will focus more on the coming slides. And there is a lot of development happening in alternative smart materials, because there is a need in the industry to it's a dilemma that you have to continue to progress. You need to develop, you need to continually achieve your numbers, you need to increase your revenue while becoming sustainable. So it's not possible to completely stop consumption, because it is one of the highest levels right now in human history, that we are becoming a very materialistic society. So it is important that we find alternative materials, so as to strike a balance between like sustainability and human progress. So industry 6.0 is not just about smarter machines, but about making wiser choices. It is not going to be a decision that you can take from just one perspective, or just like one value system that you just need to advance. It is about considering other aspects of like life as a whole, about the planet as well. So focusing on sustainability now, before I go into this, just to set the context, just wanting to revisit what sustainability actually means. Sustainability can easily be defined as something, in a very crude way, that using the resources of the planet in a way which can fulfill our needs, as well as fulfill the needs of the future generations. Now, to give you a fact, currently there is a organization which is running a climate clock. So the climate clock right now is about 5 years. Now, what does this state? That we just have 5 years from now to take corrective action. Otherwise, we'll be at a point of no return, where there will be uh, irreversible climate damage, which can which will have further negative effects. I will just quickly show that to you, so that gives you more perspective. I hope my screen is still visible. So as we can see, the climate clock is at 5 years, 24 days, right? So we just have this much amount of time to take, corrective action. Otherwise, we will be at a point where the damage that is occurring will be at a permanent scale. So sustainability is something which has been there for a long time. Like we have been studying about it from our school days. Like we have mentions about sustainability in research papers from 1960, 1970. But what has happened in recent times is there's a renewed traction in the industry. Now, why this is important? Because since the government is backing sustainability, we are seeing actual action happening. So the story starts from the point where the United Nations have defined certain sustainable development goals. Now, these sustainable development goals are a set of 17 goals, which the United Nations say that we have to achieve, so as to create a planet which is sustainable. So it includes climate action, it includes water preservation, it includes caring for people under poverty. So there are 17 different goals which the UN has listed, and the government bodies have defined different frameworks across the globe which these businesses need to follow to become, to adhere to these 17 sustainable goals. So again, say for example, in India there's a compliance called BRSR. Now, these BRSR compliance is something which forces an organization to become sustainable. Why I'm using this word is because they need to report certain data points on how they are functioning for the ESG perspective, so environment, social, and governance. So if I can quickly show you how a BRSR format looks like, I think that will give you more visibility and help you understand this better. Yeah. So this is the format which which is a report which every organization which is listed on the stock market, not every organization, sorry, the top 1,000 organizations as per their market cap listed on the Indian Stock Exchange have to report. Now, this covers different aspects of the business from the ESG perspective in terms of how many employees does the organization have, what kind of benefits they are giving, the health insurance, the maternity benefits, how they are doing the governance, how they are handling employee redressal, how they are handling consumer complaints, how they are working on environment issues, like what is the emissions that they're making, what is the greenhouse gases that are coming out due to their activities, what is their total electricity consumptions. All of these factors, there are more than 200 300 data points which are covered in this report, and this is a mandatory activity which every organization right now is having to do. So this is probably, this is the best personification or manifestation of the sustainability pillar of Industry 6.0, where whether by choice or whether by the need of compliance, organizations are having to become sustainable. uh, that is probably the first stage. We are also seeing, when these organizations are becoming sustainable, like adhering to these compliances, they are actually seeing other effects of other positive effects of sustainability as well. So for example, if you start measuring how much electricity you are consuming, then you start identifying that whether I can reduce this, and direct electricity reduction results in a positive reflection on your balance sheet as well. So, to conclude on this point, sustainability, though, is being currently driven by compliance, but these organizations are starting to see a ROI. They're starting to see the positive effects of sustainability, and that is motivating them further to improve this, because it is not just the compliance or doing good about it, not feeling good about it, but it is actually creating a positive impact in their uh, investments, in their money matters. A lot of these global funds, companies like BlackRock, companies like even Indian banks are looking at different aspects of sustainability when they're giving out a loan. There's a recent example in which a group company of Tata got a preferential interest rate because they are more sustainable compared to their peers. And we work with multiple clients from the BFSI segment. We are helping them achieve a lot of different digital, like a lot of different sustainability initiatives through a digital manner. That's a topic for discussion for some other presentation, because that will digress us from the topic. But coming back to the point, that sustainability is something in the industry which we are closely working with, and we can say from our experience that this is being done. There's no greenwashing happening. Like, still there's a greenwashing component that is there. The laws are coming up, but to a certain extent that is getting solved because of the compliance of the structure of the frameworks that are currently existing. So going back to my presentation, like as I spoke about BRSR, there are numerous compliances across the globe. At in a like just to give you an average, the clients that we work with, they report to at least 7, 8, 10 different compliances across the globe. Why? Because they are exporting to different markets. They are part of the supply chain of various organizations, which are at a global scale. So a company, maybe manufacturing textiles for Zara in Bangladesh is automatically part of the supply chain of Zara, which is headquartered in Spain. So that forces the company who is manufacturing textile in India or Bangladesh to become sustainable, so as that Zara can become sustainable. So that is how the entire global supply chain is linked. So specifically in sustainability, in AI, there are, just to give you some specific use cases, we are having a lot of AI driven optimization happening in the space. So we work with certain data centers also, so to help them with their sustainability. So just a very very small example, so that like you can get something to relate with in terms of how this is happening. So basically, in data centers, there is one of the most like, how do I put it, like the most power consuming appliances or electric devices is the PAC, which is the AC which is required to cool the data center. Now that is probably 60-70% of the total electricity consumption that happens. So to reduce that, one step is that instead of coal based electricity, these companies are focusing on the renewable forms of electricity. They are greening the power. But apart from that, it is important also to reduce it. So what we have done, what our product does, is that we have developed AI models which can actually regulate the set points, the operation of these PACs in a way based on the load. So for example, at a time of the data center where there's a too much processing happening, the amount of heat generated is higher, depending on the ambient temperature, depending on the season of the month, depending on the geographic location of the data center. We are actually manipulating the set points through an AI model, so that the consumption of the power is reduced to a minimal effect. Then we have other use cases where the circular economy is being considered. So, an important aspect of circular economy is measuring a product's carbon footprint. So, a product's carbon footprint is, for example, if you are a manufacturer which manufacture cars, so you have to buy compliance and for various other needs, give us the total carbon footprint which has gone, which is as a part of it has generated due to the manufacturing process. So for example, say for manufacturing a car, you have to paint the car, you have to do a lot of forging, you don't have to do a lot of like, there are multiple steps where you have to use electricity to fit the parts and everything. So all of that has a carbon footprint. You are consuming electricity, that has a carbon footprint. So the summation of all these activities will give us a final value. Say if you manufacture a car, X amount of CO2 is generated and emitted to the environment. Now, this can actually, this is a part where you are diagnosing how the emissions are happening. But we have to also consider the fact where the manufacturing organization can actually tweak and understand how it can reduce it. So AI is helping there, by, say, it is recommending that by changing this process, or reducing this process to this much time, or probably using an alternate material, you can actually further reduce the carbon footprint. So that is how it is helping in the sustainability aspect of things. So a quick talk about our product. Our product is called Sustainivo. We are a cross functional product when it comes to digital sustainability initiatives, right from compliance and reporting solutions to ESG data monitoring, LCA solutions, as I just spoke of. We have a solution which has a learning management system which is specifically focuses on the ESG education. We have greenhouse gas accounting solutions, sustainable procurement. So these are different models for different modules for different industry segments. We have clients across manufacturing, BFSI, retail, hospitality. So all of these clients use our tool to become sustainable, become track these ESG data points, report to various compliances across the globe. Uh, that is there. And couple of philosophies that we stick to is like lok samasta sukhina bhavantu, which is the world is one big family, and parigraha, which is non-possessiveness. So a lot of our modules are open source. So for MSMEs, which are smaller organizations with limited resources, we are also having an open source version of our product, which we give out to them, which we help them use it so that they can become sustainable. And it is important for them also, since they are part of the larger global supply chain. It is important for them to remain competitive as well. So that is where our product comes in. So one, like very important line, which, will sum up everything we just discussed about sustainability, is that the blueprint for Industry 6.0 is written in green ink. So, like we are going to write the Industry 6.0. We are not going to stop, but then we are going to do it sustainably. So now moving on to specific cores of, how AI and like the specific segments of AI and data science, which we are using in Industry 6.0. So the core AI concepts which are currently prevalent and helping in real world implementation are supervised learning, unsupervised learning. We have the CNNs, RNNs, and the different variations of computer vision and robotic systems being implemented. Data science also has like specific segments of data science, like data collection, preparation, and ingestion is very important in our aspect as well. Considering our product, we do a lot of optimization of data, because if you consider just one organization which has probably 10,000 retail locations across India, even if they generate very basic data points for say 30 50 data points every day each month, so it runs into millions and billions of rows. So that is one aspect where DS is playing a very important role in defining how we can, make the technology available to these organizations in a sustainable manner. We are also seeing a lot of advanced DS methods being implemented. Uh, Specifically talking about certain use cases of AIDS in industrial processes, is we are having predictive maintenance. So in predictive maintenance is a concept which is very prevalent when we talk about industry 4.0, 5.0, 6.0. But then again, it is still something which draws a lot of focus from organizations, because a proper functioning of a plant, of a particular device, not only impacts the revenue, but it also impacts the sustainability aspect, the safety aspect of various organizations. And AI is also playing a huge role in doing predictive analysis and predictive maintenance. Very, evident AI where computer vision is being implemented or different management. As an example of of a data center that you uh, forecasting also is one of the areas, which is seeing a lot of use of AIDS when it comes to the industrial processes, automated decision support systems, and intelligent data extraction. So just to talk about intelligent data extraction, just give you a quick example from implementations. That particular client collects multiple documents like receipt bills, um, purchase orders, and more lakhs, like lakh 2 lakh document each. And rather than using manual intervention methods, we use AI models to quickly process all the data that is required to be extracted from those documents. So if I talk about a conventional sense, where before AI we would have used OCR, we would have used specific wrappers and models for defining each document and extracting the data. AI makes the process very fast. Like we do not need to define the different characters. AI currently that we're using are good enough to detect those documents and process it. So to coming to the focus of this specific session, like the ethical considerations in AI and data science. So like the first thing that comes to our mind when we are implementing AI use cases is that there's a lot of challenges when we are transferring the solution from the current industrial practices to a generation, to a new phase where AI plays a very significant role. Even when we are using LLMs, we see a lot of these biases coming in. We have to make certain tweaks. To be specific, it is about data privacy and security. All the LLMs that we are currently using, there are like the black box problem exists for them. We do not know exactly how the AI is going to learn that data, what kind of bias it is going to have. there is still a difference in the transparency and explainability, exactly the black box problem that I was just talking about, that uh, as humans, as a general population, we do not understand how an AI model exactly works, what prompts it to take up a specific decision, why it does something, because there are billions and billions of parameters involved. So that is something that is creating an ethical issue. How do you accountability and responsibility is one aspect where how do you account whether a decision being taken by AI is correct, or if if something wrong happens, who do you blame it for? So that is one aspect. The social and economic impact, probably India is going to be those countries which are going to face massive, I would say not a negative but a short term readjustment phase, where there will be a lot of chaos in terms of readjustment that is going to happen. And I think probably the government and the policy makers must be adapting for it. The ethical use of AI in specific industrial context, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of supply chain, that is also very important when we consider, make considerations about ethics in AI and DS. There are certain ethical decision making frameworks which exist for specific technologies. And coming to the important part, which is the regulatory landscape and compliance. So, how do these international regulatory bodies, multilateral organizations framing these compliances are going to evolve in the phase of AI and and Industry 6.0? So, just to dive deeper into different aspects just that we discussed, like data collection and consent. Probably the biggest challenge which is facing AI when it comes to ethics. The LLMs, the AI models are currently taking up the data from the internet without considering any of those privacy policies or the permissions that are required to use a specific data. Like, this particular problem has been happening across different segments. When it comes to intellectual property, when it comes to knowledge based resources, AI cannot distinguish whether this is it has a permission to use it or not. If it is being provided that data, it is going to take it as a training data and is going to evolve itself. So that particular aspect of it hasn't been solved, and probably people, as an assumption or as a in my opinion, like, we are ignoring that for the larger good. Then there is a lot of bias in the AI systems. Different kind of bias exists because of the kind of data sources. Probably we cannot blame AI, but the problem is with our the way we are going to feed the data to AI. So we are not being very cautious enough to select the right data sources. There is a lot of like, a lot of this is happening because of the countries which are responsible for advancing AI. It's just that, like, if US is specifically, or China is specifically moving ahead in AI, it means that the AI models that are going to be developed are going to be biased because of the local factors, right? Because it's a cultural thing that comes in, the data sets that are available to them, that is a factor. So that is creating a demographic bias. Also, there are different techniques, there are different ways of handling it. Probably in the past couple of years, a lot of this has been solved. Like, previously, if you would have asked a AI model about racism, about things, it would have been given you an answer which would have been shocking. But right now, that problem is being resolved through multiple techniques. There are certain fairness metrics that are considered while providing a training data, or while doing a feedback about or about the QA and the testing phase when about for an LLM model. So there are certain limitations which are being resolved. For example, like giving equitable weightage to the different data points. For example, in case of the next case study that we are going to take, the Amazon was using an AI recruiting tool for its hiring purposes. So just to give you a background, like, they were using the tool for scanning through multiple CVs which they get. So across the Amazon global operation, they get thousands and lakhs of CVs each year, and they have to employ AI powered tools to fasten the process. So the models that they are using had certain bias towards male applicants, because the training that data that was used was more inclined to them, like the training data that was available over a 10-year period, which they used to train the AI model, had that particular data where the tech industry's gender imbalance was reflected. Like automatically, the past 10 years, more male engineers were employed. Probably that is something that created that bias in that AI model. So they eventually fixed it by providing it a more diverse training data, like including being cautious about involving data science techniques to pre-evaluate the data sets that are going to be fed to the AI model. They did regular bias audits, like just random testings, like to understand whether the bias still exists, and they were using more transparent AI models. Like there are multiple explanation AI models which have come in using Lime, using SHAP, to understand how that AI is coming to that decision. So that is something that they were considering. And then there was a human oversight, because at the end of the day, while AI is evolving, there has to be a human oversight to oversee certain aspects which the AI currently cannot do itself. Till we reach AGI, till we reach ASI, there has to be a certain human oversight that needs to be involved. So continuing from our discussion in terms of the ethical consideration, the transparency and explainability part of it. So basically, as we discussed before, a lot of this population, of lot of the general population, does not understand how an AI model achieves at a specific decision, why it prefers a specific decision over another, and that creates a lot of distrust in the actual users of AI. So basically, if you cannot explain them that why are you asking me to do a certain thing, then it obviously is a problem for them. So that is something that is happening. And accountability and responsibility, whether AI tells you, say for example, if, as we were discussing in our use case that we implemented, if an AI model sets a specific data point in a PAC, that it sets a temperature to to a certain temperature, which is hampers the operation of a specific data center, like the servers are not able to function there, then who will take the accountability? So there are certain checks and balances which are taken to mitigate it in the short term, but then eventually we will get there where these challenges will automatically reduce. The probability of a fault happening will come down. Till then, there are certain measures that have to be taken to manage these ethical considerations. So another case study compared to the specific points that we discussed, like Siemens has an AI system which optimizes the performance of gas turbines in power plants. Now, how does it do it? Like it has trained itself on the past turbine data. It has trained, in terms of what implications do particular situations have on that particular turbine. So, for example, if the pressure is increasing beyond a certain extent, there's a certain workflow that the plants used to follow that is embedded in the AI. So, based on the data that has been made available to the AI model, it has started to optimize the performance of gas turbine in power plants. Now, what is the problem here? As we just discussed, the black box problem, where the AI is recommending a particular optimization, that change this setting to this. But since the engineers are not aware, the plant engineers are not aware, the shift engineers are not aware why it is being told to do a certain action, it is creating distress, and they are not completely trusting the system. So it is important that we make the AI systems more transparent. Uh, we provide more localized explanations that this particular decision is being taken for this particular reason, and this is going to be the effect of this, so that the person who is actually responsible to execute that is can completely trust the AI model. The accountability concerns were there, that if they actually execute a particular optimization which the AI model is offering, who will take the responsibility? So then that was fixed from the perspective that there is a framework, there is a specific accountability framework that has been defined, that in certain situations this is what has to be done, and this is how responsibility will be accounted for. So uh, so to conclude, like like we have to keep on advancing with AI models. There will be ethical challenges, but there will be localized and specialized solutions till we figure out a more holistic solution which works for multiple organizations, multiple situations. Then we have your social and economic impact, probably something which a country like ours can relate to the most. A lot of job displacement is already happening. Like when we do our hiring, we are able to see. Just to give you an example, previously, if you wanted to make a platforms. So the average, application per post would be around 300, 250, in a 2 week period. But right now we are seeing more than 900 people applying for those job posts within a week. And when we go for the interviews, most of the reason is being that they are being laid off. So why this is happening is because a lot of the clerical work, a lot of entry level work is being automated with the help of AI. To be honest, in our case also, in our development processes, in our SLDC frameworks, we are actually using AI to a certain level, where a work which used to previously take 7 to 10 days is being done in a day with much more accuracy and which much more better quality compared to the just when a single human developer was working on that particular aspect. So this is something, however we can say that this is probably bad for the economy, bad for the society in the short term, but there's no like hiding from it. We are continuously reskilling our employees. We are considering, telling them, making them aware, so that uh, we can create a situation where there is minimal impact uh, on people, on humans. So that is one area. And then regulatory landscape and compliance challenges are there, like in the current current regulation that exists for data protection for different use of technology, GDPR, CCPA, all these compliances do not factor in the effect of AI. They have to be updated, and I hope a lot of policymakers are already working on it. So that is something which we are going to see, being a very crucial tool to actually enforce ethical considerations for the players in the industry. So, if there's a compliance which says you have to operate in a particular way, that makes it much more credible and gives us hope that it will be implemented by the organizations which are at the core of developing the foundational AI models. Just one more use case, one more case study, case study for like showing you a real world like impact of AI systems, where the Foxconn, which is one of the largest manufacturers of electronics, popular for manufacturing iPhones as well, started to replace its workforce with robots and AI systems. Now, like it's a very evident fact that if they are replacing the people with robots, then there's a huge unemployment issue that gets created. Massive job displacement happened. Uh, a factory as big as a iPhone manufacturing plant has a significant impact on the nearby society in the nearby region, right? So that also creates a lot of, it does not just affect the people who are directly employed, but as well as the ecosystem which had developed around that specific organization or a specific operation. Then there are always regulatory challenges, right? If you are going to fire 80% of the workforce in a short matter of time, the labor laws will kick in, the labor departments will come into the picture. So that is a challenge which has to be mitigated, has to be considered, right? So why an organization is doing this is can be understood because of the cost pressure that they are facing. So there is a constant need to further optimize the resources to create a positive increase in the revenue. There's a lack of long-term planning because a lot of these organizations are being forced to take certain decisions in a hastily manner, whether it's due to the competition, due to the regulatory framework, due to pressure from investors, but this is happening frequently. And then there are regulatory gaps because if there is a framework which does not exist, which does not tell you what to do in case of like adoption of AI, for example, in your assembly line, then you are going to make random decisions. They are going to happen across the globe. That there's not going to be any organization, and there will be unique problems which will be arising. So it can be a futurity where employees, which are supposed to role is going to automate scale as providing an alternative source of employment. There has to be a diversification. So we cannot just focus on the old ways of manufacturing. We have to diverse, maybe probably start alternative industries to so that this human can be employed. The organizations have to collaborate with the local governments, local regulatory bodies. Still, there is a global framework or a more nationalized framework in place to define various impacts, various situations, which can actually guide these organizations to take a sound decision. And then probably having an ethical AI framework for an organization level will definitely help. Like if the organization can bring in consultants, if the organization can bring in people who can actually guide them how to be ethical from the perspective of digitization, from the perspective of transformation, then definitely it will reduce these
Sumit sir, sorry to interrupt you.
erratic events that across the
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I think
yeah.
there is an issue with the audio. I think there is an issue with the internet connectivity. There is a voice break actually. The audio is not clear.
Is it better now?
No, no, no. Still, there is a voice break going on.
Just a second. Uh, Dr. Ganguly, I've rejoined the meeting. Is the audio better now?
It's much better now.
Perfect. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay. Yeah, you may carry on.
Yeah, so I was just doing my conclusion in terms of like what can be a approach to manage both like all the three aspects of industry 6.0, which is ethics, AI, and sustainability. So AI can actually help us to optimize our production lines. It can help with the technology aspect of things, but it cannot optimize our ethics. Ethics is something that has to come from humans, because like the way a human can factor in things, AI is still not at that level which can factor ethics. So we have to reboot our approach where there is a phased evolution of how we use AI in our industry. And while we do that, we have to be cautious about the moral principles, where we have to consider different aspects of the impact of AI on human life. So at the end of the day, it is not about the progress of a few, but everybody should have a equitable chance to live their lives. So that is the approach that we can adopt. And just to put in a note on the entrepreneurship in the age of AI, basically how we are actually managing our work, how we are changing the business model, how we are adopting to the evolution of AI, is by taking up multiple actions. Like software engineering is something which is getting automated exponentially. I can't even tell you in terms of whenever we see a new AI model coming up, it gives us both a positive and a negative feeling. Because positive, why? Because there's a new advancement happening. We will be able to do a lot of new work with this technology, but at the same time, it is actual in real world taking away jobs. Because uh, probably if we wanted to hire, say, 10 people this year or 100 people this year, we are just going to recruit probably 15-20% of that, because a lot of that is getting automated with AI. So software engineering is something which will be the first domain which is going to get automated. So AI currently is generating production grade code, like the kind of code which is generated from AI. You can right away go ahead and deploy it in the server. Like it is actually that good. We have to be careful about the prompts that you give it to the AI model, the data that you give to the AI model. That is something that is something that has to be done cautiously. But the output that is coming out from the AI models is uh, and I'm not getting a better word. It's shocking. Like how can an AI model do such good quality code? Specifically talking about the model which has recently come out from Claude AI, which is Sonnet 3.5. It is extremely good. So like that is something that is happening. And when we consider this fact where this entire industry is going to undergo a massive transformation, where the pressure will come on the margins, where the pressure will come on the existing way how the services are being delivered, we are actually doing a lot of activities on that front. First and foremost, we are reskilling our employees. Every developer, every team member that works with us has to become an AI first person. So what does that mean is that they have to spend time in doing AI research. Every day they are directed to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes on their preferred media of knowledge gathering. So it's whether it's you learn from Twitter, you learn from Google search, you learn from another AI model about AI. That is up to you, but you have to become AI first. You have to be aware of how the progress is happening. Secondly, we are using AI models in almost all aspects. So whether as simple as for a developer who is studied in vernacular, he cannot write an email in English. He is using AI models to write an email as well. So right from writing an email to generating production grade code, we are using AI because that is something that we realize that gives us a competitive edge in the short term where others will take time to adopt to that. We are already working on that front. Thirdly, we are trying to integrate AI on a more holistic level. It's not just using third party LLMs that you can say gives you the like tag that you are an AI first company. We are going into the tweaking of the foundational AI models. One important area of research that we are currently investing resource is in the unlearning aspect. So just to mention that briefly, like it is we are all aware that how the training and the learning side of AI works. Like you can give it data, the AI model will train itself on that data, and then it will start giving you responses based on the latest data set. But what if you want the AI to forget some information? How if you want AI to just say you put in a data set accidentally or something which is confidential, how can you take that out from AI? So that is something that we are currently doing a research on. So that is something which is our primary area of focus in services. So basically pioneering new AI business models, because it is a fact that a company like ours, a young agile organization like ours, which has limited resources, cannot compete with giants like OpenAI, Google DeepMind. So we have to be very creative, innovative, and localized with our approach in terms of how we can compete with these organizations from the AI services. So as I mentioned, finding out new avenues of providing AI service, and secondly, bundling them into products. Our product, which is Sustainivo, has almost AI in almost all the modules, and that is a good way for us to like push AI services or provide AI services to our clients. So this is just an aspect of a personal account on how our organization and is shaping from AI, and probably I think this is happening across all companies, big and small, that they are adapting to the need. So this was it from my side. I hope barring the audio issue, I was able to at least share some insights. I'm open to questions if there are any specific ones.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta. Uh, Now I request our participants to drop their questions in the chat box, or you may also unmute your microphone and ask the question. Oh, this has really been a very, very structured talk. uh, precise but very structured. And also, Mr. Sumit Gupta, he has raised some of the potential concerns relating to AI. Uh, so I guess you have some questions as well. He has shared his first-hand experiences. Uh, Please feel free to write your question in the chat box so that we
Just stop
can.
sharing and yeah, see the chat box.
Okay, I guess we don't have any question here. It seems like a speaker, he has explained all the avenues perfectly, and definitely, yeah, a lot of appreciations coming in. People saying like this has been a very nice talk. It has been a very nice experience. It has been so knowledgeable. Thank you everybody for appreciating this session. Okay, we have got one question here. How can AI help in reducing energy consumption? We have got a question from Shreyoshi Rupade. The question is, how can AI help in reducing energy consumption?
Yes. So I'll thank you, Shimams, for asking that question. So how can AI help in reducing energy consumption in tech infrastructure? Now, I would assume you're talking about a general technology infrastructure because the implementation of AI in focusing in specific cases would differ. So, like if I take an example, right away, since we have worked with data centers before, uh, data centers are huge guzzlers of energy. There's a lot of energy consumption that happens in data centers, and as I mentioned, just one example about actually using the different electrical components, the different electrical devices in the data center in a way which you ensures that there is no wastage. So if you use the AC for that matter in your home as well, if that AC is able to regulate itself in a way depending on the ambient temperature, depending on the need of the, say if you're not in the room. So it's a very relatable thing that maybe already happens with a lot of air conditioners, right? If you're not in the room, it will automatically turn off, it will go to a sleep mode. So these are very direct examples on how intelligent devices are working out. Apart from it, I just want to highlight probably a more complex situation where the grid which is serving this energy uses AI. Now, what happens in more advanced grid ecosystems, like in US, there's a concept of time granularity when it comes to serving energy. Okay, so what it basically means is that at the time of the day, when like the energy requirement is high, they will be serving electricity through renewable means, like they will be using solar electricity, they will be using hydroelectricity to fulfill that need. But at the night time, when that the amount of electricity reduces, then amount of requirement reduces, they will be using the other modes of energy. So creating a balance, how to regulate which mode to switch, which like form of energy to use. The AI models are used right up to optimize at at a minute level, that this minute the energy should come from this grid, that this minute it should come from this grid. So that is how it operates. Like there is endless examples of how this can happen. I'd love to know if I can just drop my email. If you have any specific queries to a specific industry, I can definitely share more information about that. So I'll just drop my email in case there are any further questions or any interest in exploring or discussing about sustainability, AI. Uh, uh,
Yeah, that would be better if you write to Mr. Sumit Gupta asking your specific question. So I guess we are at the end of this session. So on behalf of HETC IQAC, Institute Innovation Council, and Entrepreneurship Development Cell, I uh, very on a really acknowledge today's uh, effort by Mr. Shumit Gupta, the way he has actually approached the topic from the point of saying like from email writing to critical tasks, everything today we can do with the help of AI, and which has resulted definitely to the cost cutting, but at the same time, which has also affected the employment scenario, like as you mentioned, from the job of 10 people, that can be done by a single person at this moment. So that is really a matter of concern. So definitely join the session tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and hope you again enjoy this session, and it would again be a very very learnable experience. Thank you, Mr. Sumit Gupta, for your priceless time and also your thoughts that you have shared with you. Thank you. This is Shubham
Thank
Ganguly.
you, Dr. Ganguly, for such wonderful words of appreciation. And thank you for the audience for being such a wonderful audience and sharing valuable feedback. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Have a great weekend. Bye.
yeah. Thank you so much.